Hi there, it's Jesse. I am going to attempt to walk through the creation of a pool of questions in Blackboard and then using that pool to create a test in Blackboard. The way that a pool works is it is a selection of questions, and then you can add any number of those questions to a Blackboard assessment. The pool is sort of putting the clothes into the closet, and then the test itself goes into the closet, gets some selection of those clothes, and that's what the students get to see. So I'm here on the front page of my summer course from this past year, and if any of you would like to be added as an instructor or a student to go in and try some of these things, just let me know. So I'm going to scroll down to Course Tools. I already have it open. But I'm going to go ahead and reopen that, and I'm going to go all the way down to where the tests, surveys, and pools selection is. So I'm going to click on tests, surveys, and pools, and I have obviously those three choices: tests, surveys, and pools. I'm not creating a test yet. I'm creating a pool. So I'm going to click on pools, and you'll see that I've actually created some pools. This quiz doc experiment is one, and then exam 2 multiple choice. That's a series of multiple choice questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and build a pool of questions. The impetus for making this video was brainstorming with Lee in order to come up with a way to deploy random quizzes to students that needed to do the quiz on paper and then upload it as a file. So what we're going to do is we're going to build the pool. I'm going to name this document quiz tests. Actually, no, we'll talk document quiz demo. And the description is students will receive one of 2 quizzes. This could be one of 3 quizzes if you wanted to have 3 different choices, or it could be one of 4 or 5, however many you wanted to do. The instructions will be to complete the quiz and upload your answers as a PDF. And then I'm going to submit. And so now I'm in what they call the pool canvas. Now, in order to do this, we need to actually put some questions into this pool. So I'm going to click on Create Question. And the type of question that I'm going to create is a file response question. This file response question is going to be quiz form 1. And then what I will do is I will actually attach an entire file here. We could also insert an image or any sort of thing, or you could have a word question that they need to answer or draw out. But I'm going to attach a file, and I can browse my computer, or I can simply, I've got a set of quizzes ready to go here, so I'm going to use quiz 4A. So this is the A form of the quiz. I do want it to open in a new window. I could put some alternate text if necessary, but I don't find that to be necessary. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. This is one that you have to hit submit twice, and now we see that there is a link to that. In real time, I'm actually going to try to attach this as a PDF document as well, and we'll see how well that works. Here's a quiz 4A. Okay, and I can't upload PDF quizzes need to be attached using the paperclip attachment because the picture attachment only works for picture files, not for PDF files. So I've submitted this. You could add a rubric to this if you've got questions about making rubrics. I'm happy to work on that with you as well. In this case, since I know that I'm going to have two forms to this quiz, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit submit and create another. So this creates the same type of question, and I'm going to call this quiz form 2. I'm going to go down and I'm going to attach, go ahead and grab my form 4B, leave the choices the way they were, submit, submit. And now I have a link to form or quiz 4B. So that's my quiz form 2. I have these two quizzes, and so I'm going to go ahead and submit. So now what I have done is I have created a pool of questions that are the whole form of the quiz. I'm going to continue to use this pool canvas to demonstrate how you could have a couple of, say, multiple choice questions, and then use a single pool and select multiple questions from a single pool in order to create a quiz that gets deployed to the students. So I'm going to create a question, and I'm going to create a multiple choice. One of the nice things about multiple choice is that many test banks that you can get from textbook publishers will have multiple choice questions. They're relatively easy to create as well. So we're going to call this MC 1.1, and I'm going to use this naming device to say this is multiple choice question 1, version 1. And so I'm going to say, how many bonds does carbon make? And then my answers choices can be 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe it defaults to 4 possible answers. Oops, here's 4. We all know the answer is 4, so I click on 4 to show that that is the correct answer. And now I'm going to submit and create another. This quiz question will be called MC 1.2. So it is important that you keep these organized. And what this is telling me is that this is multiple choice question number 1, or category 1, or topic 1. And now this is the second question of that pool. So my goal here would be for students to get either question 1 or question 2. And I do some quiz questions or exam questions where they're randomly assigned one of 4 or 5 questions even. So this one will be, how many bonds does nitrogen make? And in this case, I'm going to have the same set of answers, 1, 2, 3, which is the correct answer, and then 4. Now, in a situation like this, I would have a choice to show the answers in random order, but since it is just 1 through 4, I'm not going to try to randomize those answers. If I do have a set of answers that is word-based or even numerical-based, I would randomize the answer so it just adds that another layer of randomization. So now I've created 2 multiple choice questions, so I'm going to go ahead and submit. And now I see in my pool, I have 2 multiple choice questions and these 2 file response questions that have a whole single page quiz that would need to be uploaded as a PDF after the student completed the quiz. I haven't assigned points to any of these. I'm going to assign points when I go ahead and make the quiz. The other thing that we could do is we could assign a default number of points here, and I could say for a form quiz, it's going to be a total of 10 points. And for my multiple choice questions, those are just 1 point each. So I would either click the green check mark to decide that it is to submit it, or I could just simply hit the return key or enter key. So now I have my pool. So I'm going to click OK. And I have my pool within my set of pools, my document quiz demo. In order to actually deploy this pool of questions, what I would want to do is I would want to go into something like learning materials, or in this case, I'm going to go into quizzes. I have a quiz section. Here you can see the quizzes that I had deployed to the students. This was earlier in my my Blackboard expertise, and if you'll notice, these are all just single choice quizzes that students did. But this new one that I'm going to create is going to be a quiz that uses the pools feature. So I'm going to add an assessment. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build a test. I don't have any tests created, so I'm going to go ahead and create a test, and I'm going to call this random form assignment quiz. And the description is that this is going to be quiz 4, because I know that those forms that I added in were quiz 4, and it will be A or B that the student gets. The instructions will be use the linked quiz to and answer all questions, upload here as a PDF. You have 1 hour. All right, so they're going to have an hour to do this, and I'll show you how to set that up as well. So what we're doing is the random form assignment quiz. Now here is the key to using a pool. In order to use a pool, you don't create a question, you reuse a question. And what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and we are going to find questions. I'm going to find questions. I could use all pools, so this would let me choose between all of the pools that I've built, but I don't want to do that. I want to use my document quiz demo file. And what I have here is I have a choice of these 4 questions. I have a multiple choice, I have a multiple choice, and then I have the 2 form quizzes. So I'm going to select these 2 items. That means that the questions that I am selecting for that test question will be selected from these 2 items. So I'm going to go ahead and click Submit. And now, what I can see is that it has added both of these questions. All right, and this is because I have added this as a Find Questions feature. As it turns out, that's not what I want to do. Using Find Questions would be to go into a pool and select some number of questions. It turns out I did that wrong. I didn't know that's how that was going to work, but now I do know how that's going to work, and so do you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete both of those questions, okay? And I'm going to go back to reuse questions, and I'm going to create a question set. I want to use the same document quiz demo, and this is what I thought I was going to get the last time. I'm creating a question set, and my question set is going to be quiz form 1, quiz form 2. I can hit submit. And this is what I wanted to see. The total number of questions is 2. That means that there are 2 questions in the set. All right. The number of questions to display is 1. That means that when the quiz is started, only one of those questions will be used. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and create or reuse questions. I'm going to show you what happens if you do create a random block. So if you create a random block and I select the document quiz demo, and this way, since I am looking to use multiple choice questions here, I can click on multiple choice and it'll show up only the multiple choice questions that are in that pool. This would be an advantage if you wanted to make fewer pools, and so this way I could add just those multiple choice questions. Especially if I had a large pool, this would be an easy way to select, okay, I want to give 8 multiple choice questions here, and they're randomly selected. So I could hit submit and do it that way, or I could do the same way I did before, create a question set, select my document quiz demo, and then select the 2 multiple choice questions. Go ahead and click submit, just as I did for the other one. And now I have my second question set. The total questions are 2. I can look at an overview of what those questions are, and it's going to display one of those questions. Here I have another opportunity to adjust the points. I want these to be worth just 1 point, and this one I want to be worth 10 points. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now I have created my random form assignment quiz. I'm going to hit submit. And now I can go through the quiz options. I would like to show the description to this so they see that it's quiz 4. You don't necessarily have to show the description. I also want to show instructions because once they start the quiz, they're going to have an hour to complete it. I want them to know that. I am going to open it in a new window. I'm going to make this available so we can work with it. And I'm not going to put any due date or anything on that because it'll just be here so that anybody that wants to use it. I'm not including this in Grade Center calculations because we're going to be messing around with it. There are some selections that you can make for giving feedback to students. I didn't really create any feedback, so that's it. There are a number of choices. You can have the quiz present all at once. I would like this to present all at once so you can see what actually happens. Oftentimes in a quiz or exam question setting, I will have the questions display one at a time. I do that to simply make it so that it makes it harder to cheat, harder to seek assistance, you can also prohibit backtracking, which makes it so that once you answer a question, you can't go back. That's totally up to you. Oftentimes, very often, I randomize the questions just for academic integrity reasons. All right, so I'm going to submit, and now down at the bottom, I have my random form assignment quiz. To get an idea of what this looks like, we're going to click into it right away. So I'm going to click into this. This is the same thing a student would do when they go to take the quiz. Obviously, you could have it show up only at a certain time, disappear at a certain time. We didn't put a due date on this, but that's pretty straightforward, common to all other things on Blackboard. So I'm going to go into my random form assignment quiz. Now, I know what I needed to do that I didn't do. In the test options, I talked about setting the timer. So I don't want to have multiple attempts. I want to set the timer. I'm going to do 60 minutes, and I am going to auto-submit. All right. So now we're going to take this random form assignment quiz. All right. It says that this test has a time limit of 1 hour. Use the linked quiz. Upload here as a PDF. You have 1 hour to complete it. I'm telling you that. Telling you over and over. So then the student can click begin. And I did this to show all at once. All right. And so here's the test information up at the top, question completion status. All right. And so now it happens that the question 1 is how many bonds does carbon make? All right. And then question 2 is this file question. All right, so a student would click on this PDF, and the PDF would open in a separate window, and they could complete the quiz. They could print it and do it, or they could do it on a separate piece of paper, which is how I sometimes had them do it. All right, but if we go back to the question, I think I would also make sure that I would write some instructions with this to say download this quiz, print it, or complete it, and then they would finish the quiz, and they would have to upload their finished quiz. So they would have to scan it, put it into their files somewhere, find it, and then upload it, and then they could save and submit it. Right? So what we notice is question 1 is this carbon question. Question 2 is the quiz 4A. Right? So I'm actually going to go ahead and close this window. Changes are not going to be saved. Okay, that's fine. And I'm going to go back to my quizzes, and I'm going to click on this again. And hopefully what we will see is that another form of the quiz pops up, a different version of the quiz. So it's going to open it in a new window again. I'm going to go ahead and continue and start. And unfortunately, it gave the same one again. I don't know what would happen if I were to log out, log back in and do it. Perhaps because it's me that's doing it, it's giving the same version of the quiz. But ideally, it's going to not always pick question number 1. There would be a random assignment of questions. If I hit save and submit, it says it's incomplete, okay, and it says it was submitted. And I can review results by clicking OK, which obviously there's nothing there, and it would say needs grading because you would have to go in and grade it. Just to see what this would look like in the Grade Center, if we go into Grade Center, Full Grade Center, I would find I wasn't doing this as a student preview, so you can't see this in the Grade Center apparently. But there is a column for it, and you would click on it, and you would click on the attempt in order to go in and grade it. Hopefully, that is a long and rambling look at it, but hopefully you get an idea of how to use that tool, and I am happy to help you.